This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population. Got to go big. Killing with the PrizePicks. Got to go big. Killing with the PrizePicks.
Can you guys hear me now? Let me see. Can you hear me now? Okay, cool. Sorry, the software. All right. What I was saying is I'm excited about today, but in terms of just basketball game matchup, but the props, I'm getting a lot of like playoff basketball prop betting feels because everything's just so juiced. Thinking that it's going to be a competitive, high-scoring game, and that these players are going to play their normal run and even more so, probably even more minutes than they've normally been playing during the regular season. So this is a new format for WNBA. I think, I believe it's its second year in with this championship cup. But basically, you have the two number one teams going at it from each conference halfway through the season. And just to give a background on this, the winner of this game splits up the prize pool and money, and I believe it's around $30,000 each. Each player gets, and then they get some like bonuses of like they can donate to their chosen charities and things like that. So the WNBA is really giving incentives to boost this game and make it really competitive and fun to watch. So it should hopefully increase its exposure and ratings. So with that said, I mean, if everything goes right and as expected, this should be a great game, high scoring, and hopefully goes down to the wire. And if that's the case, then a lot of these over props should hit. Even though some of them are juiced, we can still find some favorable ones where in a scenario where this game does shoot out as expected. So let's just first catch up with chat and see who's rolling in, and then we'll just dive right into the stats. I'll go over some team stats for you to give some game theory and analysis, and then we can dive into each player. Oh, let's see who's here. Miller Time, what's up, man? Money Time. Yeah, I hope so. Kevin said, let's go. What up, Kevin? Underrated, my boy. How you doing, man? Robert said, let's get it tonight. Yeah, man, let's do it. Silent, what's up, man? Let's go. OB, what's up, Josh? Hey, what up, OB? Thanks for letting me know I was muted, man, the new software. Silent said, what up, Science? Hey, what up, man? How you doing? Okay, cool. Hey, what up, Jatoa? He said, what up, everyone? And Dylan Batel, hey, what up, guys? All right, let's get into this, man. So these teams have played twice already. And really interestingly, Vegas had huge leads in both games. In one of the games, the most recent one, it was crazy. It was the largest comeback of the season for Chicago. They were down, let's go to that game, down by 28 points. Insane. And they came back to win. Vegas was just dominating the entire game, and then Chicago went on this just crazy run. And then the first game, Vegas was up at 18 at one point, and they held on to the lead that time. So you can see what we're hoping for is a game like this. Obviously, it's almost a 200 point total. Vegas thinks it's going to be around 172. That's what they have it at, in favor of Chicago by 3 points. Which kind of makes sense because, Vegas, in my opinion, is the more talented team. They have way more talent, but Chicago is just so so good in terms of just how well they mesh together. Obviously, they won the finals last year, and they have a lot of seasoned vets. And yeah, they just play really well together. So I think it's really going to come down to, can Vegas not go through these stretches where their offense really suffers when players try to play hero ball, because they have so many dominant players on their team, alpha players that would thrive by themselves on their own team, a different team. So when they play hero ball and they don't play their efficient offense where they're rotating the ball and passing it, that's when they go to these like lull periods. So hopefully they can avoid that and they can just stick to their offense, run the fast break and fast pace that they normally do, and we should have a good game, because Chicago's not going to go without a fight. As you can see, they came back from 28 points. So even if Vegas is hitting their threes and their offense is flowing, Chicago's going to come back fighting. So it's lining up to be a good game, and the odds are I think it will be. But yeah, let's go over some team stats. Both these teams are very similar. They're both almost top 5 in defensive rating, top 5 almost in rebound percentage, top 5 in pace, with Vegas being first in pace. But Vegas also has the highest turnover percentage, or they have the lowest turnover percentage. So they're very efficient in controlling the ball and not turning it over at a high rate. One key difference between them defensively is their interior paint defense. So Vegas is bottom 3 in amount of points allowed. They don't allow that many points, while Chicago is top 3 in points allowed. So Chicago definitely gets burned inside, but I think a lot of it's probably just funneling, because they are so good on the perimeter with their defense. They allow the least amount of threes made, and they allow the least amount of 3-point attempts. So I think a lot of things are just getting funneled, and just naturally they're going to allow more points in the paint. So totally makes sense for Asia to thrive here like she did in both games. She had, I believe, over 20 points. She had 22 in the first matchup, and she had 16. Okay, so she fell short in that other game in the second one. So yeah, there's definitely most ideal to attack Chicago in the inside, and I expect to see that. But Vegas likes to chuck the 3 ball. They are third in 3-point attempts. They take the third most threes in the league. So while yes, Vegas will attack them inside, I still think they're gonna chuck the threes, and that's gonna be players like Kelsey Plum for sure. She's gonna take 7 to 8 threes in this matchup. And interestingly, Vegas is the opposite. So Vegas allows the most threes, and they allow the most 3-point attempts. So complete opposite in terms of perimeter 3-point defense between these two teams. But yeah, that's some major team stats. And one thing I want to go over is that both these teams are top offenses. So if you look at offensive rating, Vegas is number one at 108. Team offensive rating, Chicago's number 3, 105. But in terms of points this season, I believe it's 1 and 2 between the two. I think Vegas is number 1. Yeah, Vegas is number 1 at 90 points per game, and Chicago is right behind them, number 2 at 85 points per game. So yeah, we have 2 of the best offenses going at it head to head. So I think we can really hone in on some point props here, maybe even some assist props. But yeah, these teams also lead in assist. They are very good at team assist, and a lot of players will rack up assists, not just one dominant player. So definitely potential there. You see Chicago is number 1, 23.8 team assists, and Vegas is number 3 at 20.7. Yeah, so there should be a lot of assist potential here, but that can make it difficult on choosing which players have a spike assist game, or the assists just get diluted among all the players on the team. Yeah, those are some of the key team stats I wanted to go over, give you guys some idea of game script theory and what we think and can expect for tonight. Both these teams are pretty good at not fouling. You see, Chicago, they really don't allow that many free throw attempts. And same with Vegas too. But naturally, in a competitive game where starters are playing a lot of minutes, you're still going to have free throws no matter what. And if the players are being aggressive and attacking the paint. So yeah, I think another thing, keynote to point out is Chicago gets all their scoring done inside the paint. So they lead the league in 2-point field goals made and points in the paint. So they're really going to try to hammer it in. They're not much of a three-point shooting team. I mean, now with Vandersloot back, that boosts a little bit. She's an okay three-point shooter. Quigley is probably their go-to three-point shooter, and then Azura off the bench is their other high-efficiency three-point shooter that they'll use. But a lot of the points are going to come in the paint from Emma and Candace and others. So I just wanted to point that out because I think that's key if you're trying to decide on point props and who to go with and who to target. You see percentage of points in the paint, Chicago is second. And then field goal percentage, two-pointers, let's see, percentage of two-pointers, they are second as well. So yeah, they're focusing on inside the paint. And if let's pull up the last two games. If we look at the shot chart here for Chicago, see a lot of the baskets or shots came inside the paint here, and some on the outside. While Vegas, you can see a lot of the three-point shooting spread out on the court, whereas the Chicago, they're really focused in on certain spots on the court, definitely inside as well. Let's look at the other game. Yeah, they're I don't know. It seemed like Vegas really didn't take that many threes, and I guess that's the case against Chicago. They give up the least amount of three-point attempts. So I think teams just game script or game plan to attack them inside. So it's something to keep in mind for sure, because players like Wilson, Hamby get all their points in the paint, and then Jackie and Chelsea, they're about 37% of their points come from inside the paint. And then Plum will get some points in the paint when she's driving and getting layups. She's really good at that and drawing fouls. But a lot of her scoring relies on the three ball. So if you want to go with their point prop, which I'm debating on and probably want exposure to, you got to take that into consideration with how well Chicago defends the 3-point line and the perimeter. If it's gonna be hard for her to clear that 19.5 if she doesn't make at least 2 threes. So just something to keep in mind there. And yeah, I guess we'll just start with Vegas. Just go right to them, the way team. So Plum, I'm really debating between. I want exposure to both, but I'm debating between her point prop and her turnover prop at 2.5. In both matchups, she had over 2 turnovers. Let's bring this back up. She had. Let's zoom in for you guys here. She had 4 turnovers in the most recent game, and she played 35 minutes. Now she's normally playing about 32 minutes, 33. But as of late, all the Vegas players' minutes have been down. Some of that's due to blowout, but some of it's just like Becky saying, Becky Hammond, the coach, said that she wants to kind of hold back on the minutes going down this home stretch towards playoffs. But I think today, that changes. I think, being a championship cup game and what's on the line, I think they'll go back up to their normal minutes and play, 33 plus minutes. So if, Plum's playing in that many minutes and she's averaging about 2.7 turnovers on the season, I think there's a really good chance that she turns it over 3 times here. I'll show you the other game. Other game, she had 3 turnovers. So 3 and 4 in the 2 most recent matchups. She played 33 minutes there. So again, I think if she plays 35 minutes, anywhere from 33 to 35 minutes, it's a good chance that she'll get over 2 turnovers here. And at the time, she can be really careless with the ball, just making careless throws and throwing it out of bounds, or sometimes dribbling and getting stolen from her because, she'll try to make cuts to the basket a lot. But yeah, I mean, she's a lefty, and she loves to drive left. So if Chicago can cut off her from driving left, it can make it a little bit more difficult with her going to her offhand, her right hand. But she's pretty good at doing that with her offhand. But I think that's when she has a lot of her turnovers. Teams stop her from going left. But yeah, so if I had to rank it, because I'm gonna do that for each major player here for you guys, I'm gonna put Plum. I'm gonna probably say the turnovers number 1, just because the thing with Vegas is that there's so many mouths to feed and they're so efficient offensively. Obviously, they're number 1 in points per game. The problem is that if one player has a spike game on a team, it can really eat into the others, or if they just all do pretty well and get near their season averages, it just dilutes all the scoring and they just don't get over their point prop. So there's always that risk. There's those 2 ranges of outcome where it gets diluted, everyone does average, or 2, one person has a spike game and destroys the other players. So I think just to reduce those odds of those kind of things affecting your prop, I think the 2.5 turnover would be 1A, and then 1B would probably be her scoring. And then I think the third consideration here, if you're doing numerous cards, I think it's either her assist or her points and assist. This is the lowest I've seen her assist prop. It's at 4.5, but she's just not really playmaking as of late. She does have spike games though, where she will have like 7 to 9 assists in a game, and that's when Jackie and Chelsea are shooting well, and obviously Asia. But yeah, I think let's look at the advanced stats here. If we look at the assist percentage, Plum is still second in assist percentage, but Chelsea leads by far, by a mile here. She's at 31% assist rate, and Kelsey's at 25%. And yeah, Chelsea can really dominate playmaking and ball handling. We've seen that as of late, and I think that's why Plum's assist rate has gone down. Chelsea's really just dominating ball handling and kind of being a ball hog at times, and also playing hero ball, which has really burned Vegas recently, and why they lost to Atlanta at home too. So it makes me scared for those reasons to target her assist by itself. So maybe we avoid it and we just go with her points assist. And the only reason I think you could maybe do this is that just in case a range of outcome where if she gets 19 points and hooks her 19 and a half, but then she gets like at least 6 assists, she'll push her points assist, or she gets 7 assists, she'll clear that points assist. So it's kind of just like playing the different avenues and ranges of outcome there, if you wanted to go with that. But in my opinion, I think if she's going to clear this, because this is such a high number, I mean, we've seen her points assist props down at 22 and a half, not like only 3 games ago, I believe, 2 or 3 games ago. If she clears that, in my opinion, that 25, more than likely, I'm going to say 90% of the time, she's going to have cleared that 19 and a half points. Other sites, prop sites, have her at 20 and a half points. I think Bet365 has her at 20 and a half. And I'm not sure about Underdog. So we're getting a 1 point discount on her there. I think if you're not taking the turnovers, in my opinion, I would just take the points. And then you can also consider her free throws, because she's really good at drawing fouls in a competitive game, and she's being aggressive and driving to the basket. She can draw fouls. But like I said, these teams are pretty good at not fouling. So I'm going to mark it third, and then fourth would be her free throws. That's kind of the rank ordering I would do for her. And then Jackie. So Jackie had a really good game in their matchup. She had, let's see, In the first matchup, I think she did not play as well. She was 4 of 16, one from 3, and she finished with 10 points. And this was on the road too. And we know that she's not a road warrior. She plays really well at home. In particular, her scoring kind of makes sense there if you really buy into home road splits. Because if you look at the game and home in Vegas, she was much more efficient. And this holds true if you look at her home road split history just across the season. She had 23 points. So the 15.5 is high. So on the road you could consider the under here, but there's always the possibility that she just picks it up and she can get hot at any moment. So in my opinion, she's a fade for scoring, just because of how it sets up for her and her history on the road. And it's really high total. I feel like for her at 15.5, she usually sits at 13.5 or 14.5. But I mean, I think she's second in usage here. So let's look at the usage. Oh no, actually, sorry. Obviously, it's Asia and Plum, but then between Chelsea and Jackie. So actually, Chelsea as of late has picked up the usage because she's ball hogging so much. But yeah, she's third in field goal attempts behind Plum and Asia. I'm probably just going to stay away from her. I think her rebound prop is always in play. When she plays huge minutes, she can be a really good rebounder. She is third behind Hamby and Asia in rebound percentage. She's averaging, I believe, right at 4. Yeah, 4.3. So I think the one prop I would maybe consider her would be her rebound prop at 4.5. And that's about it. I'm not messing with blocks and steals in this game because of the recent thing with Alyssa Thomas, and just in general, we've been burned. I played this 0.5 block steal for Plum and watched games live, and she clearly gets a steal, and the scorekeepers don't record it. And I feel like pretty much every game there are blocks and steals that are not recorded, so you're getting robbed of at least like 1 or 2 stocks, and that can really burn you. So I'm staying away, but I get it. Some of them are appealing because some of them are pretty low in a competitive game. And the Jackie's points rebound, I guess, would be second, but with her home road splits, I'm probably just gonna stick with a rebound, and I'm gonna put her probably at the bottom here. But she has the potential. But I just think the probability that she outperforms everyone else is lower on the road in this matchup. So I probably would rank Plum and Asia above her, and then we'll get into Chelsea now. So Chelsea, she kind of just gets it done and fills the stat line with this. Obviously, her assist, and she's an okay rebounder, averaging about 3. And let's say she can pick up 3 rebounds and gets her 5 to 6 assists, and she can get 10 to 12 points here. She's gonna get stocks. So I think we can go with her fantasy, probably the most out of all her props, since she does so much for the team, and she's so active. And we don't have a stock prop for her, but yeah, she's averaging 2.1 on the season. If she can, just get her normal assists, pick up a few rebounds, and get 10 to 12 points, and then throw in 2 or 3 stocks, she should clear that 28 fantasy point. And I like it if she's playing 35 minutes to clear that. So I'd probably rank that the primary one for her, and then her assists are always in play. But it's so high at 6. It's right at her season average that I'm probably gonna stay away and just go with the fantasy, capture it all. And then obviously we want exposure to Asia here. And so Asia it's tough. It's tough because And let me know what you guys think, since I'm solo here today and don't have Eric here to bounce ideas off of. Definitely give your guys input and throw out any questions you might have. So with Asia, she's obviously front runner MVP this season, having a phenomenal season. She's like, I don't know how many games in a row she's scored over 20 points, or how many games out of the last 10. It's been pretty remarkable. She's been so efficient. But it's used up at 21.5. It's usually around 20. I definitely can get behind it, because how much Chicago bleeds points in the paint. Like I said, they're third in opponents' points in the paint allowed. But I think the rebounding, I know if you look at a recent game log, it doesn't look good, and that's just due to context. There was blowouts, and then just the way the game flow went, and matchup and the teams that were playing. But the reason the rebound prop I know I got juiced from 8.5 to 9, but I think 9's still in play and good chance of pushing. But the reason I like it is because, like I said, Chicago, earlier when I was showing you the shot charts and the stats, Chicago lives in the paint scoring, and they're going to attack the basket. Copper's going to attack the basket. Emma's going to attack the basket, and even Quigley will drive too. And so what happens with that is you're going to have these short shots, field goal attempts, and floaters they like to do, and that's going to lead to really short rebounds, not these long rebounds that you get with 3-point shots and perimeter shots. And those long rebounds, they get away from the centers because the centers are boxing out, and then it ends up going to guards and forwards. But with all these short field goal attempts in the paint, it should really boost Asia's rebounding in this matchup, because her and Hamby are going to be playing defense, and then floater will go up, and they'll immediately turn around and get the easy short rebound on those short field goal attempts. So if we look at the past 2 games they played against each other, she dominated on the glass. I mean, she's a rebounding machine, but she had 16 rebounds, and she only played 29 minutes. I think she plays much more minutes than that. I think she plays like 32 to 33 minutes. She had 11 rebounds in the second game. So she had 16 and then 11. I think this is setting up real nice for her rebounding. I know it's a high number, but it's Asia. She leads, all-time leader in rebounds. So with that said, I'm going to put that probably number 1. And then I think you can probably go with her points too in a card, because she's going to get it done scoring. And then if you want, you can just cover it all and just go with the fantasy, but it's so high. But it's Asia. She has so much stock upside. She could definitely clear the fantasy in a competitive matchup. So totally get it. If you want to capture everything, if you want the rebounds, you want the stocks and scoring. I know it's a scary number to click on. It's high, because she's usually around 40.5, usually 40.5 to 41 is her usual fantasy prop line. So it is scary to pay that 2.5 extra fantasy points tax, but in this type of game, and if it stays close and shoots out, I mean, she should clear that no problem. I think I have her projected for about 48 fantasy points today if everything goes right and she plays over 30 minutes. And then prop 4 was obviously her free throws, because she's so good at getting to the free throw line. Let me put... And that's pretty much my rankings for the team for Vegas, how I would go in terms of player targets order. And I think Asia and Plum are like 1A, 1B in terms of rank order. Player target order, and then ranking their individual props. And then before we start, we'll move on to Chicago, and we'll do the same thing. And then before we do that, we can just catch up with chat and see if people have questions. Eric said, I'm helping from the bench today, recovering from being pretty sick the last 2 days. We're in good hands with Josh on the mic. Trying, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, get better, Eric. Get better. Yeah, Eric had a miss today. He really wanted to be on, but he's not feeling well at all. Lorenzo says Chicago is weak in the paint to me. Oh yeah, they are. And it's also a function of just funneling to the paint because of how good they're on the perimeter defense. Asia should have a field day, yeah. I mean, if we're feeling really confident on Asia to get it done, rebounding and scoring, totally makes sense to go with her fantasy, for sure. Or you can go with her PR too. Underrated said, do you like Vegas over 1.5 free throws first 6 minutes? Looks like a great one for today. Man, that's been a little money well for us for sure because of Asia. That she in Asia in the first quarters of games, she tends to dominate the usage the most is in the first quarter for her. So with that said, and that kind of game theory, totally makes sense that they would high chance for that 1.5 free throws to clear if she's dominating the usage because she is a foul magnet. What's your favorite pair for the taco? Is the taco? What is it? Is it the points? I think it's the. Did they vote on Plum's points? I think that's what it was. We'll get into that after we'll figure that out after we do Chicago. Oh, Canis PRA. Okay. Yeah, I'd say one of the Asia props or Plum props that I posted here, but maybe we'll have a better idea once we go over Chicago. Yeah, good point, Dylan. A lot of driving to the rim, lots of block chances for Asia. Definitely. Copper has been very. We're going to get into her in a second, but she's been very aggressive as of late, and that's why if you look at her free throw chart over the last 5 games, she's getting to the free throw line at a very high clip, and that's because of how aggressive she's playing lately. So if she continues that today, she should allow Asia to have a lot of block opportunities. Hey, what's up, Cowboy? What's a good fan? Yeah, you can. Who said? Who said the PR? Oh, Patel. Yeah, Asia. Yeah, if you don't think Asia's gonna get done with her blocks and steals today, you can definitely go with her PR, her points rebound over her free throws. Eric said, I know the stocks burned us with the Alyssa Thomas nonsense, but Parker 2 stocks cleared or pushed in 10 to 12 home games, 100% hit rate versus pace up at opponent. Totally with you, man. She should do it. But there's that possibility that she gets robbed of like 1 or 2 in the back of my mind. But yeah. Hey, what up, Sean? Ready to make it rain tonight. Let's do it, man. Steve said PRA. Oh, yeah, Canis PRA. Thanks, guys. All right, cool. James said Copper's PR is back to 19.5 after being at 20.5. Yeah. This is a good segue. Let's get into her. Let's start with her. So if you look at her matchups against Vegas this season, they don't look good. But I think you got to take some of it with context. So the first game, she was out playing overseas, and she had just gotten back before this game, and she had only been back in the States for 3 days, and then she played in this game with minimal like practice with the team or anything. She's a completely different player right now, later in the season, and really picking up her stride and getting back to her playoff form. And, she was the Finals MVP last year when Chicago beat Phoenix. So they call her KFC for a reason, Khalil freaking Copper, because when she turns it on, she gets hot, man, and just will rack up the points and dominate on the glass. So a lot of it with her is just motivation and energy and effort, because she racks up the boards and drives to paint, racks up free throws. I will say with her, a lot of her points as of late, majority of them have come from the free throw line. So if she doesn't get to the line in this matchup, it's going to be really hard for her to clear her point prop. I feel like just how much of the scoring she has gotten done there as of late. If we go ahead and look at her recent free throws, 9-6-4-3. I mean, she's getting almost half of her points from the paint lately, but it's at 13.5. She is averaging on the season 14.8. I think Underdog has her at 14.5, and then Bet365 has her at a crazy number. If you guys want to like shop prop lines, there's not much out there for WNBA, but Bet365, they do have betting player props that you can shop and compare. So if we look at their points, Copper, they're opening her at 16.5. They have Plum at 20.5. They actually have Asia cheaper at 20.5 than PrizePicks, but yeah, 16.5. So yeah, big difference there. A 3-point discount. I think you can definitely consider it in this type of environment, playoff-like game. She really turns it on. Obviously, she won the Finals MVP, and she dominated in the playoffs last year too. I'm not gonna put it number one, but I think I definitely think you can consider it. And then yeah, obviously her PR, because like I said, she gets it done on the glass. So Vandersloot is back, and we need to check on news if there's any minute limits or make sure she's starting. All the reports I read from practice is that she's good to go. So I think she's gonna start. Now the amount of minutes she gets, that I don't know. But yeah, I should look out for news on that. But when Vandersloot plays, what happens to Copper is that she'll move down to the 3 spot, the small forward spot, and that probably just increases her chance of rebounding even more so. Being down in the 3 spot, not having to ball handle as much and run point at times when Vandersloot is out. Something to think about. So if you're debating between the points and the PR, yeah, I'd definitely take that in consideration. And yeah, so back to Vandersloot. She's returning. She missed the last 4 games. And we saw this offense really change up. And you know what's crazy is that she's like their floor general, their true point guard. And Chicago was still winning without her. I mean, that's how good this team is. But yeah, she is their floor general, set up plays for the rest of the team. She averages 5.5 assists a season, and she has assist percentage of 35%. I think at one point this season she was leading the league in assist percentage. So this is really going to boost scoring for others because she can set up plays for them, and the other players don't have to focus on passing and rotating the ball. Just something to think about. But we just don't know her energy level and then how many minutes she's actually going to play, because she's probably not fully conditioned, missing the last 4 games. And but she's coming off a concussion, so it's not like she's coming off like some knee injury or sore ankle or anything like that. But yeah, I'm probably just going to stay away from her because of all the unknowns. But I think, if you are going to consider something for her, it would be her 5.5 assist, because she's averaging 6 on the season. And if she's good to go, and we find out reports that she's going to play the full minutes in this type of high pace environment and matchup where there's going to be a lot more shots going up, because they're going against the number 1 team in pace, I definitely think the assist potential is there for her if she's fully ready to go. So I'll probably mark that as 1 or 5th here on the player list. They had her points at 8.5, but then they bumped it down to 8, so I wouldn't mess with any unders on that. Because she torched Vegas from the 3-point line, I believe, in both matchups. She was 2 of 6 in the other one. She had 12 points. In the other game, I think she had a great game scoring-wise. Let's see. She had 8 assists and 25 points. 3 of 5 from three. That's how teams beat Vegas. They just drain threes against them, make it rain. So I'm probably not going to mess with any unders on her. I mean, she doesn't shoot much. I mean, she's taking, I think, around 8 field goal attempts per game. Yeah, around 8. But yeah, I'm probably going to stay away on any unders for that. And then on to Quigley. So I really like Quigley in this matchup. If anyone didn't know, that Vandersloot and Quigley are married. And so maybe Quigley gets a little boost here, having her wifey back out on the court with her. And Vandersloot definitely looks to set her up with plays too. And Quigley's probably their best three-point shooter besides Azura. So I think you can consider her 1.5 3, but she will get points by driving and being aggressive to the paint and getting layups. So 11.5 is very tempting. I really like it. She will get out and push the pace too, so I feel like in a fast-paced game, sets up nice for her. One of the games she had a really, really bad shooting night. It's just one of those off nights for her. She was 1 of 10. I mean, she was just off. 0 of 4 from 3. And she still finished with 8 points. So, I mean, she shoots just a little bit better, like 30-40%. She's going to clear that 11.5. I think with her is, if you want to target her, is if you want to go with her 3-point prop at 1.5 with that low line, or just go with the 11.5 points. I'm probably just going to say the 11.5 points would be the top target for me for her. But I do like her in this matchup, fast pace, where she really thrives off that. She'll push the offense. And I'll put the 1.5 3-point made. Let me add one more here. Okay, this one, here's where it gets tricky for me. So Emma. She plays much better at home. She has huge fantasy upside because she's like their main, like, I want to say, big in the paint besides Candace, that does everything, gets blocks and steals, rebounds, play makes, and then will score at times too. So her fantasy upside is always so high. I would probably consider her fantasy out of anything for her the most. Again, the block steal is tempting because she's averaging 2.4 and they have it at 1.5. In this fast-paced environment, there's going to be a lot of ball movement, a lot more shots going up for blocks. So I get it, but like I said, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not touching the block and steal. But for those who are playing block and steal, like it, and I like it. And then, as Eric mentioned, you can also consider Kansas block steal. But yeah, I probably just capture the blocks and steals with the fantasy prop. So the 27.5. But she's been really thriving with Vandersloot out. So if you look at it, so when you click on her like recent game logs, it's gonna look really good. But you got to take that into consideration that Vandersloot was out, and she really picked it up with her out, especially with playmaking. She was racking up assists, which really boosted her fantasy. So I will warn you about Emma with targeting her throughout the season. She can be very frustrating because she can just be phased out of the offense completely and just not get it done offensively and basically just disappear. And we've seen games like that, and she'll have like just finish with 2 or 4 points, real points. And then if she doesn't get those stocks, fantasy's toast. So that's what I'm on the fence about. But she's such a key part of their team, and offensively and defensively, and gonna play big minutes in this game. It's tempting to go with her fantasy. So I'm gonna mark it. I'm probably going to put her either 2 or 3. I just haven't fully decided if I want her or Quigley's points. But maybe we can make a consensus as a team here on the stream. Anything else? Let's see. Let's look at how she did in this matchup. Yeah, see, she had 4 points in this game. This is the first game, and she only played 20 minutes that game. I can't remember. I went back and watched. I didn't watch this game. She had 4 fouls. I think foul trouble got her there. I went back and watched this one, and she was much better in this game. She had 17 points. But this game was crazy. It really, a lot of scoring when they made that comeback, that 28-point deficit. So, but yeah, I mean, she got it done with the assists and the rebounds too. I would say her 3.5 assists can be in play because her assist rate definitely goes up at home as well. And if Vandersloot's not playing a full amount of minutes and not 100%, I think the assists totally makes sense for Emma here. Yeah, she had 2 blocks as well. And then I'm gonna put it on here, but I'm not gonna play it. Disclaimer. And then let's get the Candace. Good old Candace, the vet. She crushed in both these games. Let's see. She was 1 of 8 from 3, but other than that, she racked up rebounds. 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks. And finished with 11 points. She cleared her fantasy there, and then in the other game, she shot much better from the field, 7 of 13. She had 10 rebounds. This is why we liked her rebounds since last night. Had 4 assists, 2 steals, and 17 points. So, I mean, you can see, she's getting it all done. And we know what Candace is, this stage of her career, when they play inferior teams, she just kind of disappears, especially in the first half. That's why her first half props are so low. But when the team needs her, she really turns it on. And when she gets motivated for these competitive games like these, I think she has that just enough in the tank still left in her where she steps it up. So I like her fantasy point upside the most here because, as Eric said, the stock upside, the rebounding, she can pick up a few assists and then get it done. If she gets 12 to 16 points, I think the 32 fantasy points is definitely reasonable here. But if you don't want to go with that with such a high line, I think her either her rebound or her points rebound are in play as well. But probably just want to capture it all with the fantasy. She cleared the fantasy in both those games. I'm going to put 9 rebound. And then in honor of Eric, we'll do the 2 block steal. One key thing to point out about the rebounding. So Vegas is dead last in offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounding. They don't get second chance points or rebounds that much at all. So that's a real boost for defensive rebounding for the opposing teams. So definitely rebound upside here for Candace and Emma and Copper, if you want to take that kind of stuff into consideration. Let's see, what did they have her PR at? What was it, 22 and a half? 22 and a half. And then we get one key bench piece here for Chicago. We don't get one for Vegas, but I think we should talk about Azra. Come off the bench. She was super efficient against Vegas this year. And with her, we only get like 3 props, like our points, PRA, and fantasy. But with her, 8.5 points. If she hits at least 1 or 2 threes, she's gonna obviously crush it. So it's with her, it's just, is she gonna hit her threes? She's gonna take about 4. So, if she shoots, she's averaging 3 3-point attempts per game. I imagine in this fast-paced game, that's gonna get an uptick with the amount of shot volume increase. So I bet it goes up to 4 or 5. So yeah, if she can shoot, 50% or a little less than that, 45% from 3, she's going to crush it. But you can see in this first matchup, she was 0-4. She finished with 7 points because she didn't make that 3. With her, it's all about making that 3, and she'll clear her points easily. So it's kind of all or nothing 3-ball with her. It's like betting. Essentially, in my opinion, with her points, it's like betting on a 3-point prop. But on the season, I mean, she's making about 1 3 per game. And when she comes in, I mean, that's what she looks to do with her limited minutes. Let's look at the other game. I think the other game she was much more efficient. So she took her normal 4 threes here, and she was 3 of 4. So it's really all or nothing with her. So I think you could gamble on it if you need a last filler piece, just because of how bad Vegas is defending the 3-ball and how many threes they give up. And that's pretty much her forte off the bench with Azura. So I'll put it on here. I'll put it behind Quigley. I know it's a lot of point props here for these players, but I think with this fast pace and high shot volume, these lines I probably like the most for these players here. And Quigley, Azura, and Copper. And then players that are going to fill a stat line like Candace and Emma, I like their fantasy. And then, a lot of unknowns with Vandersloot. So with that, kind of go over the rankings, and then we can do a team stream card together, and then for heading out, and we'll take any questions you guys might have or thoughts or ideas. So this is kind of the rankings I have right now. I don't know necessarily this is 1 or 2, 1A or 1B. It's not like I like. It's not like I like Asia's rebound the most. It's not number 1 for me. It's just I probably like all these equally. So I just put them in the top 4. But that's kind of where I stand for the top 4 ranking. And then for that 5th spot, I have Plum, but obviously you can't play her twice if you're doing a 5 flex. For that 5th spot, I'm really on the fence with. I can't decide if it's going to be a player like Emma's fantasy or Chelsea Gray's fantasy, or even Copper's points. I'm probably gonna lean Chelsea because she's much more consistent than Emma, and I feel like just active on defense and racking up the stock. So I'd probably lean her over Emma fantasy. And how much she's ball hogging as of late. If she continues that, she got no problem clearing that fantasy in a competitive game. I'd probably put this is not final. I'll post it on Twitter and Discord once I finalize it. I want to go back and look and dive in some more data because we have time. Lock is until 2 hours, so I'll probably post this in an hour, the final ranks. But just know, like, the top 4, it's not necessarily I like this one more than this one. I probably like them all equal since it's a 1-game slate. And also I give you guys top 10 because instead of just giving a card, because I think, you can use your own insight and what you think is better if you want to use any of these plays and kind of do different combinations. And so I really want you guys to try to combine like your insight, other teammates' insights, and pull it all together, give you more options, and try to help with the card construction instead of just giving you a card and say, oh yeah, play blindly, tail this. I feel like the list gives a little better odds and tool set for you. So with that, let's catch up with chat and then we'll do a team stream card and we'll get out of here. Stevens PRA or PR will said she rebounds really well against him, gone well over both games. Okay. Yeah, the thing with her is it's just minutes. If she can get over 20 minutes, I would feel good about that. Yeah, in both games she did. So I just noticed that, like, as of late, Gardner's been playing more minutes. So let me double check. I think that's because Vandersloot being out, but yeah, see, Gardner's playing like 25 minutes. Yeah, see, there's just some games where she plays less than 20 minutes. And 20, right on 20 on the dot here. Yeah, I think with that limited minutes, I probably just would want her. I would want to bet on her coming in, hitting 1 or 2 threes, and then she would clear her point prop. Oh, I forgot Hamby. that just goes to show how much I care about her. I'm staying away. I can't deal with her inconsistencies and lack of motivation. She crushed in these matchups, and it's a perfect matchup for scoring in the paint, but it's Hamby. She's the Christian Wood of WNBA, where when she's motivated and comes out, she crushes. But majority of the time, she's not motivated and just goes complete magician ghost mode, and might as well not even be out there. She'll just be boxing out for others, letting them get the rebounds, and not even looking to score. And her minutes have gone down too. So I probably complete fade, or if anything, I maybe consider unders, but the matchup being too good makes me scared for unders. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stay away. If you got a good lean on it, definitely see gold, because it is a low line. I think if you click on the last games, you're gonna see some inflated numbers here. 14 rebounds. But we've seen this in the past, because this is early in the season. It's like May 28th. Early in the season, she was rebounding really well. Like, she had 19 rebounds against Seattle, and then later in the season, when she played Seattle, she had 4 rebounds. So you can't go. You just don't go off of this small sample size, is what I'm saying, with her, because she's definitely not consistent. I know it's appealing, but it's Hamby. But it's a 1-game slate. Our pool is limited, and the lines are low, so I get it if you want to go with her, but fade for me. Compass said these got to be done a bit earlier. They bumped everything. Oh yeah. I mean, they've been bumping since this morning, lines. Just how it's going to go with this game that has a real high potential to have a lot of overs, and it's only 1 game too. Julian said Wilson rebound, Plum turnover, and Taco sound like a move. Yeah, I like that. Everyday fantasy, no love for Hamby, 15 FPRA. I can't do it, man. She scares me. Obi said, "I love the list." Hey, thanks, man. We're gonna keep updating it, and I'll get feedback from the crew, and we'll fine tune it, touch it up. Cowboy said, "Courtney under assists, limited minutes." I feel like you're rolling the dice unless you get confirmation that she actually is going to be on a minutes limit. Then I consider it, but we don't know. Patel said Steven plays most of her minutes in the first half. Yeah, because I don't think majority of times, she's not closing. So yeah, her first half props. Craig said I'm liking Copper free throws made. Yeah, man, she's been super aggressive attacking the basket. So the potential's there for sure, and also the potential. If the game is close to the end, she'll get fouled and do some icing free throws. We've seen that recently against who was it they were playing? It went down to the end, and she was racking up free throws at the end there because she was getting the inbound, and they were fouling her. But with Vandersloot back, and if Vandersloot's closing, potential for her to get those icing free throws too. Yeah, James said I love Copper free throws. You can definitely consider it for sure. But if she's clearing her free throw problem, it's probably going to clear that 13.5 too. Parker hit 25 and 31 period the last 2 games they played. Yeah, Candace turns up for these games for sure. Yeah, I'll add that for you guys if you guys really like it. For Copper, I'll take a screenshot of this, and I'll put this in the Discord as well, in the rankings channel that we have, where we post all our favorite top plays and cards. So let's just do a team card. Is the taco available? Taco's available. I won't put the taco in here because I want to increase the pool for you guys, prop pool to go off of. But I'm just gonna probably do a card without Candace in this then, because then you can pull players out of this list and add it to the taco. Let's go with Quigley points. I'm feeling pretty good about this. And then let's go with Asia's rebounds. Do we want Chelsea's fantasy, or do we want... If we're doing a 5 flex, I think we can do it. And then instead of Candace, we can do Emma's fantasy here, or we can do Azur's points, or Copper's points and free throws. I feel like either of those 3 as the 5th play. I think you can definitely consider whatever you guys feel best about. Yeah, I would say either of those 3 for the 5th play. Oops, sorry. These 3. Yeah. Probably I'm just gonna for now, just for screenshots sake, so I'm gonna put MS Fantasy. With all the lines, individual lines getting juiced and the fantasy not getting touched today, and with how many minutes these players are going to be going with in a fast-paced competitive game, I feel like there's some edge with fantasy with players that fill the stat line in Chelsea and Emma. So that's kind of my thinking of why targeting their fantasy here. And yeah, I think if you don't want Plum's turnovers, then her points are definitely in play as well. Yeah, that's kind of where I stand. Hey, appreciate it, Compass. Great breakdown. Hey, thanks, man. Hope it helps. I would go light today with everything being juiced and being one game, and we don't have that much to go with. You're gonna be forcing some plays that you don't really like, but you're gonna have to fill it out. Ray-Ban said, okay, sorry you don't like him, man. These are just suggestions, trying to go over game script theory. You can play it or not, or go with your own stuff. It's totally up to you, man. Yeah, Eric, Emma assist. I'm with you on that. Debating between her assist and fantasy. I think it's 1A, 1B for me. I think you could definitely pair that here. It goes well with either Copper's points or Quigley's points, for sure. For sure. Courtney under PRA first pick. Cowboy said, "Man, let's keep an eye out on news. I'll look out for that while I'm touching up the list before posting it. I want to see if we can get some kind of confirmation on her rotation, if she's starting, and if so, is there a minute limit? So we'll try to find that out, unless you guys know. Oh, you guys want to know how would I play Taco in a 3-pick? Let's try to do that real quick before we get out of here. Okay, I would say either Plum's turnover or her points you can go with, whichever one you feel best about, as number 2. And then 3-pick, I would say either Azra's points or Quigley's points. Either one of them is gonna get it done 3-point shooting tonight from the three ball. So whichever one you feel confident on. Obviously, you can go with more minutes than Quigley with the starter, but Azra can be efficient off the bench, as you've seen with her 3-point shooting. And then you could go with third, one of Asia's props, and either I would say her rebounding or her points and rebound. That's probably a combination that I would go with, because I want exposure to Plum and Asia in a card because of them dominating the usage, the scoring for Vegas, and then pairing Candace with either Azra's points, Quigley's points, or as Eric said, Emma's assist. Oh yeah, you said 3-pick though in that question, so yeah, Asia's all her lines are so juiced, but I would say Asia's. Let's do Asia's PR since we did a rebound on the other card, and then let's go with Emma's assist for this one. I like that. I like this one has some good correlation here with Emma's assist and Candace scoring for her PRA, and don't want to do that. Then I would say either Azra's points or Quigley's points as a third, or you can even throw in Plum's turnover. But yeah, it's a tough call in my opinion between Azra and Quigley's points. Both are very tempting for their 3-point shooting in this matchup, but yeah, the thing with the Azra is just coming off the bench. It's the only holdback. So if I had to choose, I would lean Quigley. Yeah, I mean, you saw she shot 1 of 10 and she still had 8 points, shooting 1 of 10. So she can just be efficient, a little bit more efficient tonight. I think she can definitely clear that 11.5, and she has her wife back too to pass it to her. Someone asked about Asia's first half fantasy. She's been crushing that, man, and like I said, for good reason. She dominates the first quarter usage. It's still at 21.5, so it didn't get juiced or anything. That's what it's been sitting at. I would say I like it just for the fact that she is so dominant in the first quarter. But the only thing is, like, this game should go the entire game and be competitive to the end. So I think you would want access to the entire game. So I'm on the fence, but I get the process if you wanna go with that and clear prop early on for sure. Underrated said Courtney under PRA. I'm with Cowboy, but a little scared. If she's not starting, nuke first half under. Very good point. If she's not starting, I assume what's going to happen is PrizePicks will pull her off the board. They did that with Jean Cole Jones on Sunday when she was announced off the bench right before lock, they just ended up pulling all our props. So if we can get that news early, that'll be key before PrizePicks makes any adjustments. But yeah, totally with you. She's not starting. We can definitely go with some unders, or you can just roll the dice and just take the under and hope she doesn't start or play full minutes if you're feeling risky on that. All right, Nathan said he liked Emma's assist too. Yeah, her assist rate definitely goes up at home too. And yeah, like I said, there's a good chance that Courtney or Sloot doesn't play her full run. So I'm with you in there. I'll probably add that. I need to add that to the rankings too. We could put that above her fantasy because how a number it is to sweat, but she does get it done. Fill the stat line, so makes sense. I'll need to see what our projections say for her assist. Yeah, I think it would be you could definitely consider making it the fifth on the ranking between her and Chelsea's fantasy. I'll have to dive into that a little bit more to solidify that if we want to include that in the top 5 or not, or Chelsea's 28 fantasy point. But for now, I'm gonna leave Chelsea's fantasy point on here. Okay, I think that's it, guys. Like I said, I'll post the rankings on Twitter and Discord. The final rankings, like at least hopefully within an hour of lock, and also we'll share these team cards and Discord as well. I'll try to chop it up on Discord too later on, an hour before lock as well. So if you're not part of Discord, I think the link is on our YouTube page and Twitter page as well if you want to join us. Really good community we have going. Everyone works together, super positive. Yeah, and we all sweat these props together, which is a lot of fun. It's not fun to sweat props by yourself, so it makes it a lot better to feel the pain and the joy of hitting these cards. So no game tomorrow, but we have a massive slate on Thursday, 4 games. So it's gonna be a really fun day. Hopefully Eric feels better by then, and we can do our normal duo stream on Thursday, probably around the same time. I want to say 5 p.m. Eastern. Let me double check the schedule, but I think all the games start normal evening, 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. So yeah, we'll shoot for 5 p.m. Eastern. But if maybe since it's 4 games, we want to give ourselves a little more time. Maybe we'll try to shoot for 4 p.m. Eastern. Give ourselves an extra hour, because yeah, it's gonna be a lot to break down. And it should be a really fun slate, especially the late night hammer with LA and Phoenix. It should be a great one for sure, with Liz gone. Yeah, this looks like an awesome slate. So looking forward to Thursday. Go light today, get ready for Thursday. Don't blow it all today on a 1-game slate, even though it should be a great game. And the game is free to watch on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it there, and yeah, it should be a good one. Like I said, the winner of this game, each player gets $30,000, so definitely some incentive for these ladies tonight. Let's hope they get it done, and I will catch you guys on Thursday. All right, peace, guys.
Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing.
Let's get honey.
This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if it makes the right plays, it pays automatically. Bankroll showing that I know it don't strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose of the bookies, all get mad at me. Confident with power plays, not clicking on a flex today. 10 times the money, and we all about to get paid. Eric and Josh on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, the like if you
be feeling it. Digging the players, they all never time. You can't make up your mind and just go with your gut. Fantasizing Sasha Clown, Gabby Williams said watch your mouth. They 1 and they 2, I play the over, they come through. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, pick them both, we stacking them. Going big to the maximum, just push them in, we cashing them. Let's fucking go, we about to go big.
Killing with the brass pig.
Let's fucking go, we going out blazing. This is population.
About to go big. Killing with the brass pig. About to go big. Killing with the brass pigs.
We about to go big.
This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population.
About to go big.